Hello, awesome humans. It's Ros Loxton here, and it's Wisdom of the Oracle Wednesday. I'm really keen to see what comes out in our container today and what message comes out today, because there's been so much information sort of coming through for me, and I'm wondering how it's all going to culminate into our message today. Looking at the dreams that I've been having and the transits and our human design, and all of the things, how I'm feeling, what's going on, and making a kind of sense with all of the cacophony and chaos of life, and how I make sensible of that through the filters of who I am as a human design. It's pretty deep and technical, but it all starts to help me, and if you were to do this, you to make so much more profound sense to yourself. So no further ado, the purpose of this container, and I'm going to be using the Wisdom of the Oracle deck to draw a message today, just to help us use that as a window to look through to bring our situations to. So this container is something that I do weekly, just to bring support and some soothing information if you're seeking. And so the container is being created. The container I ask to be protected for the life of the container. Container being the space that we're in together, as in we're in a snow globe or a bubble or even this room, but this energetic container. And the intention in the container is purely loving, purely supportive, purely benevolent. And I invite you in this container to come with an open heart and an open mind, seeking another angle or another perspective for how to approach a current situation that you are dealing with, whether it is a challenge or a relationship or something that you're currently facing. And this container is, the way I show up and the way that I will interpret, the message is a way that I can help shine a new light or open a new window and shine give you a new perspective or a fresh perspective, to open up some new thinking, or to give you some new ideas, or to hopefully bring some relief and some insight and aha to your current situation. And I like to also invite protection for this container, for the life of this container, and also invite in divine support. Every part of our past ancestry, every part of who and what we've ever been in our past, and who and what we are now, and who and what we will ever be into our future, that I would invite helpful, supportive guidance to come into our container, and to help me to channel information that is deeply helpful and loving, and to help you to be able to bring some of your own energy into this container, some of your own divine support into this container, for your greatest good, for my greatest good, and for the greatest good of everybody, and those that end up bringing their own spirit and energy into this container, for the life of this container. And so today I'm going to ask that all of that energy in our container to help guide our message for today, and to help guide my way of interpreting that message for us. And so I'm going to shuffle, and the card that either flips out and seems to be like, here, pick me. I love to pick the jumping out cards. Otherwise, I'll just keep shuffling until it feels like a sense of time to stop, and I'll take the card that's on top. And so we're looking for information and guidance today for our best life, for our best self, for our current situations. Given that we are a collective, given that we are a civilization, a whole collective of humans as a species, and we are also showing up as individuals with our individual experience, which is being given to us because of our collective existence. And so how will this message support you, given you're an individual in a collective, having your own unique experience with our collective experience? So what would be the message that would best support us today? Make it clear, make it obvious, which is the message that divine guidance would like to choose for us today. Looking for a jumper, looking for a jumper. Looking for our obvious card today. I'm going to take the next one on top. Okay, so the card today is No Place Like Home. No place like home, no place like home. I have so many downloads of images and bits of information that are coming to me, and what that could mean and how we could interpret that, and what is home. You know, what does home mean to you? What conjures up in your mind and in your heart and in your spirit and in your psyche, in your whole self? What is home? Just as a point of interest, before we look at the card and what the essential meaning is for this particular card. That's the back. This particular card for today, which was in an upright position. So it's number 50. The deck is Wisdom of the Oracles, and that is produced by Colette Baron Reid. She's absolutely the real deal, and the way that she brings her decks into life and the way that she actually has them illustrated is all deeply specific. So I love the messages in these decks, and I think that my gift here is a way to how to interpret this message in a way that we can all take something away as medicine. And so No Place Like Home, and just take a look at the picture, because they're all very deliberate. The art is always very deliberate, and it's a number 50. And so let's have a look at the essential meaning, contemplating how your answer came to you when I asked, what does home mean to you? What conjures up in you when I say the word home? There is no place like home. Okay, the essential meaning is authenticity. Coming home to yourself. Feeling at home in yourself, as yourself. Arriving at a place where you just fit, in all your absurdity and all of your nuances and all the ways that people don't understand you, and all the ways you don't understand you, and all the ways people do understand you, and all the ways you do understand you, in all the ways. Finding that place, arriving at that place where you just fit in amongst all of that. And being comfortable in your own skin. I really feel like this card was just pulled because of everything that I have been reading and putting my focus and attention on. So the Oracle's message: home feels safe and secure. Does it, when I ask the question, what does home conjure up for you? A lot of people, home is something that was traumatic. It was something that, was chaotic and not loving and peaceful and supportive. And so maybe when I ask you that question, what does home conjure up for you, it might not be a fabulous image. And I think in the spirit of this container and this card is that it's time to look at home being a place that makes perfect sense to your soul, to your mind, to your heart, to all of your spirit, that there's a place within you, a way that you filter what the world is and who you are in the world, a way that you just wake up in the morning and feel about the world, wake up in the morning in the way you feel about yourself, despite the chaos of what's happening in the world, that you can find a place that just feels like home. And I mean that in the sense of goodness and peace, and like a bird flying and it gets to land, where it lands somewhere and it can rest and feel grounded and safe. And that we don't have fear about death, and we don't have fear about not being enough, and we don't have fear about not having enough, and all of the fears and anxieties that we can have. That there is a place within our being that is the true state of home. And that, I think, is the golden message that is here today, and one that I really hope you can take away and drink and eat so that it becomes embodied within you. Home feels safe and secure, even if your image of your home growing up wasn't. What we're speaking about in today's container is finding that home that is safe and secure, despite wherever you're at in your health and wellness, in your journey, despite whatever's happening in the part of the world that you're in, finding that place within yourself, within your beliefs, within how you hold yourself that is safe and secure. It's a comfortable place to rest and to create, a place that is known and that you can call yours. This card signals that your ability to trust yourself and feel at home in your own skin is beginning to solidify as you calm your dignity and your integrity, aspects of yourself that no one can take from you. You know who you are. You hold your head high, yet with neither pride nor humility. Holding your head high isn't about other people seeing you do that. It's about you in your own heart and internal soul, holding your head high in this incarnation of life that you're in. You know, it's not about the ego. Instead, you stand as the observer, seeing through the eyes of your soul. And this puts you in a position of power and strength. Authenticity is your home, and you are safe here in the house of your spirit and spirit. And I've been doing a lot of looking through human design, and it's a deep learning. There's a lot of deep information because it goes off into the gene keys and also our star signs and all those elements. And so there's a lot to learn about what's really going on within you. You know, when 3 months before you were born and the day you were born, what was going on in the cosmos that actually left an imprint within you that says, these are your strengths and shadows. These are the things that you are going to bring to the world, and these are the things that you're going to have to work through as challenges, as wounds, in order to overcome them. So these are the journeys that you're going to be going through. This is the light that you're here to shine on the world. And you know, that's such a deep dive and it's such a beautiful journey to go on. And it is a journey to self. It's a journey to really learning who you are and what home actually really is, because we need to learn some new language. We need to untether and let go of and unlearn some of our old language. You know, in my South Node in human design, which is what I've come through, like my past learnings, it's all about, you know, this values piece. And how that supports tribe and how it shows up to support people, and that has to be transcended. You know, the old way needs to be transcended into a new way, and that's kind of what my current situation is. I'm just looking at, you know, all these different systems and how they all speak to each other. You know, and I think I started with the chakra system, like, you know, the root and the sacral, going through the basic seven chakras, and then coming to human design, which is kind of split into different centers, which works in the chakra with the chakras, but it also splits into the I Ching, and it uses other technologies, and then looking at other technologies that all have these similarities, where we've all got these levels within us, but there's different ways of bunching together, you know, the levels, and we're going to put this parts of you in this level and this parts of you in that level. But with a different technology, they might clump different parts of you into different levels. But whatever technology, there's all these different levels of being able to learn and understand who you are as an individual, and what you are as a human being on this planet, and where the heck you came from in terms of your ancestry, you know, and our evolution as beings. And why does that matter? Because we need to make sense to ourselves in a world that doesn't make sense. And that's kind of what our purpose and journey is. Now, this as a relationship message says, lovers, friends, and companion animals are at home in your life right now. You're in sync and full of love, and you can be secure in the knowledge that it is reciprocated. Relationships elicit a sense of emotional safety, comfort, and the best aspects of familiarity right now. Be home in this relationship. Together you add to the love to the world. I really do feel like they're just talking to me there. You know, that feels so true to me. I even have relationships with, you know, my garden and all the trees in the garden, and they all are my friends. They're all my family, and that fills part of my cup. When I'm away traveling and touring, I think about each tree in my garden, you know, in my mind, and I feel the love that I have. And so that, you know, it might seem weird and kooky to some people. I don't care, because it feels loving and peaceful, and it makes a sense to me. You know, it makes the world make more sense to me, putting it really briefly. You know, that's a deeper conversation. And even my animal, my beautiful fur baby, my fishies, the birds that are flying around, a beautiful relationship with my beautiful husband, you know, who really does represent a part of my human design in that is about confusion and moving through confusion. And, you know, I am somebody that it can be quite philosophical, and I know what I'm talking about, but Greg, my husband, is such a great sounding board for making all of my little woo-woo language have to come down into grounded basic language, not because he's basic, but because, you know, he's quite practical and I'm quite philosophical, and I need to be able to language my philosophical self into practical language so most people can understand, you know, and take and eat the information and consume it without being too confused. Although I think confusion is not a bad place to start, because it precedes insight. So the prosperity message with No Place Like Home is, when you act in an authentic way, and until you deeply know yourself, it can be tricky to know how to be authentic. When you act in an authentic way, you command the world to reflect back to you exactly what is in your highest good. Your business choices, the investments you make, and the creative projects you immerse yourself in are powerfully on point. Why? Because when you are fully yourself, radically accepting everything in your journey to date, and I so implore and encourage you to go down the human design rabbit hole so that you can know yourself, radically accepting everything in your journey to date, it will make more sense to you when you do your human design. Both success and failures, you will see the divinity in all things. It's like the sun and the moon work in divine symphony with each other. So do our successes and failures. One supports the other. One creates the opportunity for the other to exist. You will see the divinity then in all things. Abundance is a natural progression. When you experience this kind of authenticity, no place like home. It was not in the protection message, but I'm going to read the protection message anyhow, just to give us a full spectrum, because it might be more appropriate for some people listening. There are times when what is familiar and known is not the best choice. I could speak so much to that right now, because sometimes we just cling to what's familiar, even if it's not good for us, because we want to feel that sense of home. We want to feel that place of, I've been flying for too long and I need to land. And even if that landing place is not good for us, we need to land there because it feels like the familiar place. Ooh, that's a big one. Human beings are memory-driven creatures, and we will look for certainty for what we know, even if the qualities we seek in other people and in external conditions are expressed in unhealthy ways. please reach out to me if you need help with that. Avoid being too eager to find home. Choose something unfamiliar and trust that there you will find a new normal that supports your spirit. Amen, amen, amen. Remember, if you do what you always did, you get what you always got. That isn't entirely true, but I get what they're driving at by saying that. Do the opposite of what feels right, even if it's uncomfortable, because what feels right is really what feels familiar. And you will attract and be drawn to the very things that you don't want anymore. This time will not be different unless you do something different. Now that's the protection message. And you know, I have had a very profound experience with domestic violence in my earlier years. And I can't say that this happened to me particularly, thank goodness, but it does happen to people where they stay with their abuser because it is familiar. Going out and creating a new life seems completely impossible, completely unfamiliar, and so they stay with what's familiar because they're so clinging to what's familiar, even though it's bad and bad for them. So I hope that you really take what you need from today's container, No Place Like Home. If you need support, please reach out. Jump on my website and have a look at all the different ways that I can show up and support you, or just reach out and we can have a breakthrough call. Until then, I'm offering you absolute biggest encouragement, really, to find your authentic self, to find that home within yourself, for your best self and for your best life. Until next time, I'll see you soon. Sending you big love.